Now the thing is all these calves are wanting to go with me. They want to go. Psychologically, I just said, you guys don't get to go. You're late. And it's making them want to go. It's not going to take much now, and all I got to do is walk by old Red. I don't even have to get past her nose, and she's going to go. These other calves, I'm going to have to stop them. I got to get up here and stop them. So, as Temple was saying earlier this morning, if you go against the flow, it creates movement. If you go with the flow, up their eye, you can slow it down or stop it. Against, goes. And even cause one to back up. So you see these cattle, these are thinking cattle, really thinking. Now I want them to step in here. And when cattle go in a corral like this, they kind of tend to want to stay there. Now I don't want old Red to go, so I'll ask her to step to the back of the bus here. Now if I can do this in a way where I keep these other calves looking forward, I should be able, I'm getting my shoulder out of the way, I should be able to draw some of my black calves forward. I'll ask Red to stop here. You see, just by moving your body, I'll just open up my body a little bit. I'll have to draw back, see if I can get her to come. I got to push this calf back out of the way here to get far enough over where I can send this heifer here. Good. So by just understanding where the animal is telling us to be, it makes it real easy to work. Now here, she's changed her mind. Here's a great example. I got to back up, change my mind, her mind, now step in. If I'd have stepped forward too quick but without changing her mind, she'd have run by me. And this is really, really important to understand. So many people want to do this, this, this. If you'll just step back, as soon as she changes her mind, and this is where people make a mistake and take too long. As soon as she changes her mind, step forward and go. If you got to think and look at your notes, it's too late. So you've got to do some of these things where it's just a reaction. And this is something that's very difficult when you're working with cattle. You can't take too long to make a decision. So I used to tell people working with horses, when you go home and work with your horse, don't think. Don't think. And they get confused. They look at me like you are looking at me right now. But if you stop and think and try to make a decision, you're going to be late. Your timing's going to be off. So you've got to go on your gut. So like with this heifer here, if I say, I want you to walk over here and look that way there, I got to do these things I just got to make these things work. And I got to do things in a way where I follow my senses rather than really think too much. So when I ask her to step forward, again, I'm working her nose. I'm going to ask her nose to look forward. I'll ask her to step back if I can, or come around. I'll see if I can get her up through this little deal here. And what she needs to do is just make a little circle around here, if she can. Just make a little circle just like that. Now maybe I can line her out for our gate here. Slipping and sliding. So, but on all these things, if I take too much time to think about what I'm supposed to do, I'll never get the reaction that I want to have happen. So I just have to work off my gut there. I can't be thinking. You gotta work, and if you make a mistake, then step back, get out of the bubble, think a little bit, make a new plan, and then go from there. So all this thinking stuff is fine, but you should do it after or before. All right, so we'll put these guys in here, and they've been, the red ones have been through here twice, and the rest of them have been through here once. But what happens a lot of times when we're putting cattle in, to go through a situation like in a V or a tub or something. And again, I'm not going to go behind the cattle. I'll step forward and I'm going to control these cattle through. And the other thing you really want to make sure and do a lot of is working your cattle from both eyes. When I see people count cattle, a lot of times most people count with the left eye looking at them. Think about how you count cattle. When they're going by you, usually they're going by you with they're seeing you out of the left eye. And everything they do, you kind of do on the left side, and pretty soon they get real left-sided. They don't want to work off the right. So, now I don't have my flow here, so what I'll do is I'll let these cattle come back out. I'm going to work around here just for a moment. I'm just going to put enough pressure on these cattle where they're all looking the same direction. Step back. As soon as they're all looking the same way, if they are, or they will, come on, you got to go. Then I'll put pressure on. That's when I start moving forward. And they got to have somewhere to go. If they don't have anywhere to go and I start putting pressure on them, that's when cattle start breaking back. So, set it up, get your chess game going, get everybody face the same direction, then put pressure on. And the pressure is not yelling and screaming and jumping up and down, but just simply stepping in. All right, now, what happens here is, if I had that gate open, I might have a big old jam up in the front. But right here with this deal, if I had a V situation, a V set up like this, what I would do is I would do exactly this. I'd come all the way around to the front. And I might even have a little side gate right there, if we get a little more of that money that Jack was talking about. And then I would just simply, now I'm controlling my cattle from the front again. And even though I'm in a V, I'm not going to have, I'm the wing here. I'm the wing. And I can set this up where cattle want to go by, or I can stop them. I can set it up to bring them on again. Now, if they're real snorty or wild, and you don't want to be in the pen with them, this is even better. I should be able to set this deal up and work these cattle from outside the pen. It don't necessarily have to be in to stop them. You should be able to come down here and stop them with this general of cattle. Or I should be able to just go against them and start them again. Step out wide. Ask her to look at me here. She doesn't even know these other cattle have left. There, now she's ready to step in. So you don't have to work inside the pen. One of the things, I'm sure some of you have tubs. And one of the big things I see when people have a tub situation, you get your number of cattle that you need. How many of you have tubs? A couple of you. How many does your tub hold? That's a good question of this type of cattle here. 5 head.
I would say 15.
15 head. And how many does your snake?
Half circle, it'd probably hold 5.
So what did Temple say this?
I'll count the snake in as part of the 15.
Okay, all right. So really, but if it'll only hold 5, you should only according to Temple, you should only put 5 back here. That's what she was saying this morning, and I agree with that. And that's why I think your snake should be longer than your tub. And the reason she says that is it's a pass-through. You don't want to store cattle in here, because once they don't have anywhere to go, then they start looking back where they came from. So what I think is important, if I was loading your outfit, and then you run it however you want. This is America, and we can do whatever we want. That's what I like about America, so far. What happens is when people are coming to a tub, whether they're horseback or whatever, they bring their cattle into the tub. This is the tub. And they're working the cattle up, and right when they get to the highest pressure point where the cattle are going to be, first of all, they're usually right directly behind them. You shouldn't be directly behind them. You should be on the side working their eye, working their nose. But right when they get to the spot where they need the most pressure, what do we usually do? We take the pressure off, come back here and get the gate. And just at the right moment, a lot of times tubs are set up just to where you take the pressure off to shut the gate and the cattle all turn back on you. So it took me a long time to learn that. I usually tie a rope on the gate, on the tub gate, and I walk by and I get a hold of that rope. And I give it a little swing here. I can keep the pressure on the cattle, I pull the gate with me, and then I work my gate around. Usually when I'm working a tub, I never even think about the gate. I quit shutting the gate behind me. If cattle are working right, they'll flow through it anyway. But when you take your eye off the cow's eye, take the pressure off, they're going to turn back on you. And that's why I put a rope on. And if I need it, it's there. So anyway, that's kind of